Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the podcast. This is episode number 20.
Yes,
and,
number 20.
I remember this time because whole number.
Yeah.
You know. With my co-host, Seth.
Hello, it is I.
What's up, dog?
Not much, man.
That was gross, but we'll let that... Okay. We'll let that slide. Lots of good stuff to talk about today. Some more details came out about the whole Draymond and Kevin Durant thing a couple days ago, which we haven't gotten a chance to discuss yet. And then Steph Curry is injured. LeBron passed Melo, and the Rockets officially
almost
parted
sounded like
ways.
you said LeBron passed away. I was like, what?
Oh,
I didn't hear that.
No.
No, but he passed all-time scoring.
Took over 5th place for
Yeah.
all-time scoring. Melo and the Rockets are officially done, which I think we didn't get a chance to talk about last time. I think there was like the rumblings.
No, yeah,
of it.
we had it. We were just like, he's basically done.
There were the
we
rumblings
don't know
of
if
it.
he's going to get traded
Yeah,
immediately.
now it's official that he's like
Right,
gone.
he's gone.
What else here? The Wizards are willing to trade their entire roster, including John Wall and Bradley Beal. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about Kemba Walker, and then the Rockets, and Markelle Fultz.
Free my man, Kemba.
What in God's name is going on with Markelle Fultz? And then
what's going on with Markelle Fultz this week?
Yeah,
it's like
right?
a weekly show at this point.
And then J.R. Smith and the Cavs, they parted ways, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with Draymond and Kevin Durant. Apparently, Draymond dared Kevin Durant to leave, and he said, basically, we won without you. We don't need you. Go ahead and leave.
He's not wrong.
Well, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong that they won without him, but
yeah,
if they can win without him, maybe we'll see.
Yeah,
maybe.
Maybe
maybe this will be a really futuristic feud that we'll see.
Maybe because I think he's gone.
Right.
And we'll get to that.
I think most people think that.
Yeah. But yeah, the Warriors players and the coaches and the organization as a whole they're all prepared for him to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta think that even though KD and Draymond hashed it out, and Draymond said this is only going to make them stronger and they're going to move on from this or whatever, and everybody has their right to do what they want to leave and stuff, but I still got to think that is a distraction. Something like that can't just happen.
Yeah, right.
And you can't.
And it showed in their play.
Yeah,
it showed.
And they're without Steph too.
Well,
so that doesn't help.
Obviously they don't have Steph. Steph feels like the peacemaker on the court.
Oh, absolutely. And he's been traveling with the team too.
Right.
To just be a locker room presence.
Yeah, it's got to suck to just stand by and watch your team kind of fall apart.
Yeah, and everybody's kind of putting this aside, but you can tell it's a big distraction because imagine at work two managers say get into two really high ranking officials at a company get into a scuffle and they try to just set it aside and be like, oh, we're gonna move past this, but that one of them's gonna end up leaving.
Right. So
I just feel like this you can't have in the back of your mind knowing that happened and then try to sure they'll go on and they'll probably win another championship, right?
They should.
They probably will. But I gotta imagine, I keep saying, that has to be a big distraction.
Right.
Because I wouldn't be able to
It just seems so crazy how some people can't put aside their ego for championships sometimes.
Right.
I get it to a certain extent if someone's just a straight asshole, but it had been working. There didn't seem to be any friction.
Yeah, and it was weird how this a simple turnover caused this whole outburst. Because there must have been some previous tension and frustration built up.
Right.
And knowledge of maybe Kevin Durant's not here.
Kevin Durant has just gotten a bigger and bigger mouth, and I feel like everything that he said and it's kind of led up to this point.
Yeah.
Can we go ahead and talk about the fine that he got? Because
because
we're still talking about Kevin Durant.
Yeah, he just got fined for. I don't want to say it, but he
basically told the game to shut up and watch the game with a lot of profanity.
But there was some profanity in there. And he got fined $25,000 for that.
Yeah.
But you can tell he's mad. They've been losing.
Right, he's upset, and he's
granted, they don't have Steph yet. He's supposed to be reevaluated on the 24th, November 24th, but he's missed probably 4 or 5 games now.
Right. And you can see the impact he has on the court.
Oh man, the Warriors without Steph look awful. Like they look like
just the pieces of a super team.
They look like a team with no identity.
Right, exactly. What, KD the hothead supposed to be the leader?
Mm-hmm.
Draymond was like part leader, but he can't be the whole leader because again, hothead.
And it looks like they're fine on the court. Like I was trying to say earlier, like they can move on past this, and still be like, all right, whatever. Once we get our whole team back, everybody's healthy, we can gun for a championship and probably win one. So they're going to be able to put it behind them. But this is probably the last season where they'll all be teammates. Because this summer's, I feel like Kevin's going to leave. Who knows what Clay's going to do? He said he wants to re-sign, which he probably will, but still, there's a possibility he might change his mind.
Could you imagine that KD stays and Clay goes out and like creates a super team?
That would be weird.
That would be the most unsuspecting thing, but it would.
Right.
It could happen.
It's the NBA. Anything can happen.
Because he's more than just a spot up shooter. He's a scorer at this point. He can create for himself slightly. He's. You gotta admit, the way the Warrior system is done, I feel like has helped Klay Thompson out, and because he's been working in that system for so long, he's figured out how to use it and how to use it to his advantage. And
right.
Be able to go on these ridiculous tears for however many points.
Right. That's what makes him such an effective player, like scoring option.
Yeah, you've got all these valuable pieces in Golden State, and they can't just stay there forever.
Mm-hmm. But this whole situation just feels like. It feels like somebody's hiding something from you. Like,
right.
Have you ever been in a situation in life where it feels like that, or like like you're kind of forced to do something with people you don't like, or at least one person you have to be around all the time that you don't really care for.
Right.
That's kind of what it, and then in public they got to play it off like you like each other or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what this feels like. So Kevin and Draymond are gonna be able to put it aside to compete, but
and this only adds more fuel to the fire of the story. That Kevin Durant is fake. That Kevin Durant is kind of a dick.
Yeah.
He's just
I feel like Draymond's at fault though in this one.
Draymond was definitely at fault. He definitely should have passed it to KD in that play. I don't know what he was doing.
I don't either.
That was his J.R. Smith moment, but he just like ran with it and then tumbled and fell.
I don't know what he was trying to do.
I mean, if I was Draymond, I would have been like, "I'm so sorry, my bad."
Yeah,
but there has to be something else there for him to argue with Kevin Durant that no, I did the right play by running up the court by myself and tumbling and falling.
Yeah, he's like, you're not gonna talk to me like I'm some scrub because we were winning before you. Go ahead and leave. That's basically what he told him. Which is just disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
Like, he won Finals MVP 2 years.
This isn't one of those situations where you can be like, "Oh, that's just Draymond being Draymond." Like, you have to hold people accountable.
It's deeper than that, right? Like, this whole thing, like I keep saying, it's just it's a shit show basically that they're trying to cover up, and they're an organization that is able to do it pretty well. But like, you can tell this is a big issue for the team based on how they're playing and how new additions to the story keep coming up. You can tell it's a big deal throughout the organization, and that they don't want Kevin Durant to leave, but they know he's going to.
Because they're the peak. They're known for being the best team in the league at the moment. They swept the finals, so there's no questioning their dominance as a team.
Right.
At least from last year and years.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 championship. That's pretty dominant.
Yeah, I'd say you're doing pretty damn well for yourself.
Right. So where do you think KD is going to go? Like, do you think he's gone? Because I think he's gone.
I think he's gone too, but it's that question: where's he going to go? What uniform would suit him?
I really, really, really don't want him to go to the Lakers. Because if he
goes,
I've said this before. Like, his name has been dragged through the dirt enough joining Steph Curry.
Oh my God, join the Knicks or something.
If he joins LeBron James, it's just he's going to be known even worse as taking the easy way out. Because if you have the 2 best players in the league on the same team and you've got a decent supporting cast around them, that's
not okay. It is
they
not
probably,
okay.
They probably I don't know. I don't trust Kevin Durant enough as a. I don't know. Him playing with LeBron doesn't seem like a good pairing to me, anyways. And I don't know if they could win a championship just them. I feel like this day and age, other deeper teams.
If that flopped, if they attempted that, super team and that flopped. Oh my goodness.
They just don't. It doesn't seem like a good pairing to me. That's why I can't see it.
Because they're both very ball dominant players,
and they could win a championship with just them two. However, it's kind of hard for me to envision that for some reason. Just because they're both ball dominant. Like Kevin Durant's a scorer, LeBron's a facilitator and a scorer. I don't know. They just don't seem like two players that would mesh on the court.
Right. They both can't drop 40. You know.
Right. Yeah, and they need to be their own. They need to be the guy on their own separate teams. Like that's kind of how they gotta go about it. Like LeBron's not like a.
If KD like
Kevin Durant's not really an unselfish superstar. He sort of is because he has to in the system he plays in. But you can tell lately that he's just pissed when he's playing. Like they're playing with no joy whatsoever.
No, yeah, everything looks very painful.
And then like I just can't see like two ball dominant players like that playing together. Like it's different when one's a point guard because their job is to facilitate, and most point guards are scorers these days.
Yeah.
But when it's two forwards, it doesn't seem like.
What do you do with two scoring forwards?
It doesn't seem like a great fit to me.
Right.
Anyways,
and I think that might be revealing for the Celtics as well. You know, with Gordon Hayward and how he affected the Jazz with his time there, and now it's kind of different translating that to a different system.
Right.
Where you have so many talents there that even if you are one of the best, you still might be second or third option.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about the Celtics, since you brought them up. They're having offensive problems right now where, like, Kyrie's obviously the best player on that team, but they're having issues where guys just for whatever reason aren't shooting good percentages like they were last season, and
right.
Tatum's still averaging, decent numbers, and it's just Jaylen Brown lately hasn't shot well at all, and he's averaging like 4 less points than he did last year. I think a lot of it is they're just having trouble reintegrating Hayward and Kyrie. Like Kyrie, not so much
because does he still have limited minutes?
No, he's off his minutes restriction, but they're trying to like bring him off the bench now or something.
Right? Yeah, they're doing something weird with him.
They're just having like lineup issues, and for whatever reason, the chemistry they developed last year hasn't really translated well this season.
Well, it could be everyone's getting too big for their britches. Everyone. There's only so many minutes.
Right.
And when you've got all that talent, people are like, "Hey, I did well last year." Terry Rozier, I'm sure he's thinking it's like, "Hey, I did a pretty good job with Kyrie. We made it this deep in the playoffs with just me."
Yeah, I heard some rumblings. I saw a report that there were rumblings of like players saying, "Why am I not getting as many minutes as this guy? Why is he playing more than me?" And that's just causing some friction, I guess. But all of this comes on to Brad Stevens to try and figure out the minutes. And once he gets them all to buy in again and figures out a rotation that works for everybody, right, I think they'll be fine.
I think that's what
they're too talented of a team and have had too much success, especially last year, to
There's so much potential there.
To not at least get to the conference finals, and they should get to the finals.
They should.
But I'm not counting out Toronto or Milwaukee at this point.
Can we talk about Brook Lopez's amazing shot? Can we, just for like a millisecond?
Go ahead and bring that up.
I've been, Milwaukee Bucks basketball has been great this season because Giannis improving every year, and everyone else is clicking.
And Mike Budenholzer was the biggest off-season acquirement that wasn't a player.
No, absolutely.
For any organization.
Absolutely.
Because he is a fantastic coach.
They have made that team so much better.
Yes.
So much better. Sometimes their defensive problems show up and they might rear their head every once in a while in their late game or, when they need a stop.
Right.
But other than that, they're just really fun to watch. And Brook Lopez's three-point shot, I was talking to Alex about this earlier. It's like Nikola Jokic's launch that he does for a three-point, except perfected.
Behind his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Brook Lopez has found a version 2 of that.
Yeah.
That is even more deadly.
Launches it from above and a little bit behind his head, and it's just like I don't know who they played the other night, but he was pulling up from like 4 or 5 feet behind the line, just
Dude's a monster.
draining 3 after 3.
Bro's
it's crazy.
Dead eye. That's hilarious to watch. But it's so awesome. I get excited for him because I'm like, dude, it's just so cool to see.
It's weird to see like people that tall like draining threes. Like
Right?
that.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Before this era, we would have never seen that.
My brother saw that the other day. God, who was it? It was Alex Len from the Hawks, because I was watching the Hawks game last night. My brother came in with his friend.
Yeah.
And they passed it to Alex Len on the corner, and he shot it. My brother was like, "No way!" He hadn't watched basketball in years, and I was like, "Yeah, that's the league now."
Yeah, I was like, I watched somebody like I tweeted it the other day. I was watching a game like 2 weeks ago, and two centers just pulled up for transition three. It was like Enes Kanter and like somebody else. They just pulled up like on opposite teams. They both pulled up in transition for three.
Rain dance.
2 7-foot centers. Yeah, it was like they were both bricks, but like this is the era we live in where
that's
we're
a good shot.
Yeah,
where that is an acceptable.
Well, I don't know
shot.
if it's an acceptable shot for a 7-foot center to pull up for a transition.
Depends
three,
on what the coach says. Talk to the coach.
Yeah, but still, this is the era we're witnessing where the 3-point shot and big man shooting are kind of
big man launching.
It's the norm. Yeah, long toss.
Like, long toss. That's your favorite term for it, is the long toss.
It's fun. Just kind of rolls off the tongue. But let's get back to the Celtics real quick. It's hard to say things that we haven't already said about them.
Right.
Because I keep thinking, they're going to pull it together. They have to, because before the season started, they were my pick to not only get to the finals but to win the championship. Mm-hmm. And I still believe that can happen, but they need to get their offense going. They're still a good defensive team, but they got to smooth out whatever offensive issues they're having. Whether it's guys not buying in all the way or just shooting not well, I don't know. It's still early season, so I mean, I remember last year they had like a 16 or 17 game win streak, so I feel like they're gonna pull something like that off pretty soon, and it all comes down to guys buying in. Yeah,
that's an important
and accepting their role, no matter how talented they are. Because if everybody sticks to their role and does their job, then you'll be a successful team. So it's just they gotta figure out, or maybe make some trades for a certain somebody on the Wizards team named Bradley Beal, which we can get to later.
That would be crazy.
Because I feel like if they could trade like Brown, Rozier, and maybe that Kings pick for Bradley Beal, that would not only get rid of some guys who are underperforming and maybe aren't too happy with their minutes, another opportunity in Washington to be the starting
opportunity. That's a nice way of putting it.
I don't know, because like this is just a thought, but and then I don't know if Bradley Beal's worth like the Kings' first round pick and then a starter and another quality backup guard, but still, I would make a trade for Bradley Beal, because then you would have Kyrie, Beal, Hayward, Tatum, and Horford.
Good God.
I would definitely take that.
Snipers everywhere.
I would take that lineup.
Even Horford is a sniper occasionally.
Right. If I'm the Celtics, that's a trade I'm willing to make, because you're getting rid of kind of two underperformers so far this season, and a good shooter and defender in Bradley Beal. Yeah. To me, he's
a good shooter and defender, and so was Jaylen Brown last year.
To
so
me,
maybe they're trying to.
Right. Exactly.
It's like, okay, if Jaylen Brown can't be consistent, let's replace him with someone who has shown to be.
It seems like Rozier and Tatum have both regressed from last year. So if I'm the Celtics, I'm willing to make that trade for Bradley Beal. Yeah. Anyway, that's just a side thought.
Side note.
Side note, right. All right. Anything else on that? Anything you want to say?
Nothing. Well, this is a good time to transfer into the Wizards and blowing it up.
Yeah. So Woj reported the other day that the Wizards are willing to trade the entire roster, including John Wall and Bradley Beal. So
not Dwight Howard, though. They want to keep Dwight.
No, they said the entire roster.
He wasn't even worth mentioning.
Right. This is the sad thing. I was just telling you this. We went out to dinner a little bit ago, and I was telling Seth, like, they just said the whole roster's available, and they just got Dwight Howard.
No, yeah, we were talking.
And they were
about
banking
that.
on him to like solve their issues.
Well, number one, that's stupid to depend on Dwight Howard to resolve your winning struggles.
Not only locker room issues,
but
on court issues.
They just had everything go wrong with the Wizards, man.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because Dwight Howard, it seems no matter if it's his fault or not, he ends up on a team and then gets traded.
Dude,
after a season or not even a season.
He just destroys the team every single one he goes to.
Remember when he signed the 3-year deal with Atlanta and there was all like, oh, he's coming home or whatever, and then they traded him the next season? You're making a face, trying not to laugh. It's so sad, man. Even if it's not his fault, like with the Wizards.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You
you
gotta feel for the guy.
Right? It's sad, man. So anyway, apparently
Superman.
there was another report came out that there was a hostile practice that the Wizards had where players were confronting each other.
Whoa.
John Wall said "fuck you" to Scott Brooks. Later apologized for it, but
how old is
still
Scott
happened
Brooks?
nonetheless. I don't know, probably 40s. I don't know.
Sorry, random question.
But and then Bradley Beal said he's quote been dealing with this shit for years, end quote.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, and then like I said, there were other like heated altercations between players. Like there was one between Beal and Austin Rivers.
Free my man's Bradley Beal.
So this whole team just hate each other. Like it's no secret that they don't like playing together. That's why it's not translating to wins because there's no chemistry. And then there's other just on court selfishness, and it's just.
Right. And I'm sure the people that were making these decisions and like as far as coaching and drafting certain players didn't think that there would be this much chemistry issues.
Right, because on paper they're a really talented team.
Right, and
It's
that's
just
why
there's
they've
no
been so like they've been in the
chemistry.
playoffs before. They've
They should have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals not too long ago, a couple years ago,
Right.
when the Celtics beat them in Game 7. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Celtics earned that, that win. However, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but
the Wizards are just
they were I mean, they were good 2 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago, and now for whatever reason they're just not. It ain't it.
Yeah, again, like we were talking about, we don't know what happens behind the scenes. We don't know what's, what they're willing to show, and they haven't showed much. You don't see a little YouTube hangout with the Wizards crew.
Yeah, you never see any of them hang out. Like, there's no off. I'm not saying like in order to have good chemistry, you got to hang out with your teammates,
No.
but it's a good thing
At least
to
do it for like a PR move at the very least. Just go out, just pretend to be like out with the buds,
right?
Even if none of you are smiling,
right,
just
right.
Go out to get dinner together. Do something,
right? But there's none of that at all.
Right? They just
from
hate
the
each
Wizards.
other.
But now the organization is realizing, similar to how the Timberwolves organization realized they can't win in this dysfunctional environment. So that's kind of what the Wizards are realizing now. So I'm expecting some trades to be made here pretty soon. Like I said, if I were Boston, I would trade for Bradley Beal with the trade I just suggested. But the problem is with John Wall's contract is he is not tradable at all.
Right.
He's got a $169 million extension that kicks in next year, and he's owed he's owed $40 million like 3 years in a row, and it keeps going up to like 41, 42, 43 or something like that. Some outrageous numbers, but he's gonna
secure the bag.
He's gonna be like 30 something in that final year. It's like almost literally, it's like almost half of $100 million that he's owed for one season. And that is the most untradeable contract ever.
Right.
Because nobody's going to want to
luck.
pick that up. And if he gets traded, there's like a 15% trade kick or something like that, where they'll have to pay him 15% more, I guess. I'm not sure. I think that's what that means. I didn't really look into it too much, but that's in his contract. So he's going to be very hard to trade. But Bradley Beal is not only younger, he doesn't have that terrible contract, and he's low-key, I don't want to say better, but he's a better trade asset for sure. Because like he can provide more to a already solid team than John Wall could.
Right.
That's my point.
And these stories have stood out as to where John Wall has caused the friction, or at least things seem to be pointing towards that.
Yeah, he's an ego guy.
Right.
Bradley Beal just seems like he wants to win, but he's stuck in a shitty situation.
He's just like kind of stuck there, being like, "Damn, I'll just make the best of my situation until my contract's up."
Right. So what teams could use either of them? What teams should
What
trade?
team needs a point guard? Let's start with
The
John
Magic
Wall.
and the Suns. Those are two teams that need a point guard.
The
I feel like the Suns would be willing to pay.
They have
that,
what's his name, Cannon.
Yeah, but who would you rather have, John Wall or Isaiah Cannon?
Right. Trust me, I know. And he would be a good off the bench.
Yeah.
Is it Isaiah Cannon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually coming back from an ankle break.
Oof.
Like he broke his ankle last season on national TV. God. Anyways, that's neither here nor
he's
there.
always been injury plagued. I know that much. But anyways, yeah, Suns should.
I feel like they would be willing to pay that max contract.
Right. Suns are like, I'll take anything.
Right. Or the Magic. I mean,
yeah, Magic should have space for that.
Most teams at least have a decent point guard, except for them.
Right.
Because like DJ Augustine and like Isaiah Cannon, those.
DJ Augustine did like a highlight play the other night. I don't know if you saw it.
I think I did see it. It was like a behind the back.
Barely, because Aaron Gordon nearly missed it.
It was a behind the back pass, right?
Yeah,
it was a little too wide.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon had to like grab it, retrieve it, and had like 5 seconds to shoot the three.
I did see that, but no, I feel like those two teams. Which I'm kind of struggling to think of other teams without a point guard already, but there's some teams that could use them, or maybe a point guard upgrade. You know,
right?
But still, John Wall just seems like the kind of guy. People say he's a good guy.
Wait.
But he just seems like...
What about John Wall to San Antonio?
Yes. Are they going to pay that contract, though?
Right, exactly. That's the problem.
That's why he's not tradable. Is that
Right.
contract. And he said he wants to stay with the Wizards, but I just...
That's stupid. Don't do that.
I feel like no team that could use a point guard upgrade is going to trade for him.
Or is even eligible.
And they're not going to trade for him either, the Spurs, because when DeJounte Murray comes back, that's going to be their guy.
Right,
so
sure.
they've kind of already got their future in mind.
Yeah, I just know they need one right now.
Right. Man. Most good teams, or at least solid teams, have a good to great point guard, or decent to great point guard, somewhere in there. So, I don't know, man.
John Wall
You know,
to
if
Lakers.
what about, like, see this, I can barely think of any, to the Lakers? Jesus Christ.
Could you imagine?
No, I can't imagine. John Wall and LeBron playing together? That doesn't seem like a fit. However, though, when I think of Bradley Beal, I can think of 1,000,001 trade scenarios, because if the Lakers can pick up Bradley Beal, that adds much needed shooting and a good defender, and like say even the Sixers, if they could pick up Bradley Beal, because they need shooting.
Oh my God!
And like he could replace who is it? Wilson Chandler in the lineup or something.
Yeah.
Or like Fultz is not in the lineup anymore. Or, I don't know if they could just start him at one of the forward spots. Probably Wilson Chandler is who he would take over for. But like if I were the Sixers, I would make a play to trade. I would trade Fultz and like a first pick for Bradley Beal.
I can't imagine what Fultz's trade value is.
I wouldn't even blink trading Fultz right now.
Oh my God, no.
Because he has not done anything that a number one pick should have done.
If he somehow came back
at this point,
lived up to that number one pick hype,
yeah.
That'd be crazy. But we just haven't seen it.
Yeah, and we'll transition to him in a second. But I keep looking around at all the jerseys in my room, thinking of teams that could use Bradley Beal, and literally almost all of them. Like the Rockets should trade for him. The Lakers should. Hell, the Thunder could even trade for this man. The Jazz could maybe use Bradley Beal.
That was funny. I was watching the 2013 draft, I think it was, and Steven Adams was one of the picks. And just seeing him clean shaven with like a near buzz cut made me laugh so hard,
he looked
because
so
I hadn't
different
seen
back
his
then.
face in years.
Right. What made you think of that?
No, I just saw. I was watching it last night. I think it popped up like I just let YouTube play whatever was next, and it was like full 2013 NBA draft. I was like, why is this on? And then it's Steven Adams, and then he's just like a tall white guy, and I'm like,
right? It looks so different.
Who is that? Oh my God, that's Steven Adams.
Isn't that hilarious? But yeah, dude, so many teams could use Bradley Beal, but when I try to think of trade scenarios for John Wall, it's not clicking in my head.
Right.
But that's why I keep
might just have
Bradley
to be
Beal.
Stuck there, and he might be content with that.
That's what's gonna happen.
And just like every new person who comes to the Wizards, John Wall's like,
You obey me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you gonna bring to this team, huh?
And I'm the alpha here. You understand?
Yeah. Better be ready for that pass, or I'll beat you up.
So let's transition to Fultz here. We are witnessing
Bobble, shoot.
Yeah, that free throw for him that Jay Crowder everyone was like, what the hell? Yeah, he's doing this thing where
I love that video.
He ping pongs it back and forth between his hand before he shoots the free throw, and he did it on back-to-back attempts, and then he did the pump fake the game before that.
This certifies that this is all jitters.
Right.
That this has nothing to do with my shoulder hurts. Something I don't have. Fluid was drained. Fluid was added.
But speaking of the shoulder thing, it just came out today that he's not going to play in any games or practice because he's going to see a shoulder specialist to get diagnosed with something. But my question is, why were you playing him in the first place if this was still an ongoing problem? Why didn't this happen last year?
He needs to see a therapist. He needs to see a counselor.
Like, is he all of a sudden just being like, oh, my shoulder, I need to see somebody? Like, apparently this was his lawyer's advice to him, was to go see a specialist, which is so weird. Like, why is Philly trying to play this kid, if he's not healthy? Or was he just not being honest about his health?
Right.
Or what,
was he just trying to get on the court? Like, what?
I don't know what the hell's happened. This is why I'm saying they need to just trade him. Because he's done bonk for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Bonk.
Like, he hasn't done anything. And if they can trade, I'm telling you, if they can trade for Beal or just any productive, good, quality player, like, they're instantly going to get even better than they are now after trading for Jimmy Butler. To me, Philly needs to make some more trades to get shooting. And if they can get Bradley Beal, oh my God. I'm ready to, like, put them up there with potentially getting to the finals. Because Jimmy Butler, Bradley Beal, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid, that is nasty.
No, that is a nasty lineup.
And that could compete with Boston and Toronto and Milwaukee and
maybe even the Warriors.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, there's so many good teams in the East. Like, the East playoffs are going to be insane.
They will be interesting for the first time. And
the second round is going to be wild.
Right.
Which is what I'm excited for. Oh man, I can't wait. So, you got anything else about Fultz? I mean, we've already talked about him, and there's nothing that we haven't said already.
It's nothing new. That's the thing. There's no progression.
He hasn't really given them any quality minutes. I said that to you at dinner earlier.
Yeah, there's been glimpses of, like, his passing ability.
Yeah, there's been flashes.
Obviously, his shot's not there.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's just not anything to go off of, and, like, what his future will be with the Sixers or with any other franchise.
Yeah, and I'm rooting for him. It's just right now he's not a fit with this Philadelphia team. He doesn't fit what the Sixers are trying to do. Right. And he's almost a liability on offense. I mean, like you said, he's shown some flashes of things he can do, like some nasty dunks and like some cool passes and whatnot, but he hasn't done anything that a #1 overall pick should have done by now.
Right.
And that's where you kind of got to make a decision, like, especially with him being out right now. Philly's got to make some trades for some shooting, and I wouldn't keep him off the table. So I'll just leave it at that. Got anything else on that?
No, just get better soon, Markelle.
Right.
Because we want you to succeed. We really do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, hard to watch.
It is hard to watch. All right, so let's talk about Kemba Walker.
Dropped
60 the other night.
60 on his head. That was funny, like, the interview after the game.
With
Jimmy Butler was the game-winning shot, and he's like, Kemba still dropped 60 on me. I gotta
say that.
Yeah, I gotta say that.
That was really funny. I mean, that interview was, but the game was really good.
The game was great.
Kemba,
he shot better than all of his teammates combined, percentage-wise.
And then he went on to score like 43 or something last night. So he scored like 103 or 102 points in the last 2 games combined. And
crazy.
Jimmy Butler blocked his shot in overtime, saved the ball, and then on the other end hit the game-winning 3. So we're already seeing the impact of Jimmy Butler on the Sixers and why they needed him.
Kind of got overshadowed by that 60-point game from Kemba.
Right. Remember when I was saying Philly needed a closer and they finally got him? Mm-hmm. We literally witnessed it shortly after that.
We watched it.
That's exactly what I was saying, because he can make decisions in the clutch and do the right thing. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I just wanted to brush on that. But back to Kemba Walker, the Hornets need to get this guy some help, because Michael Jordan's priority is to re-sign him this offseason. But there's so many terrible contracts on the Hornets, like Cody Zeller, Nick Batum. Pretty much every starter but Kemba has a terrible contract. And Kemba, I almost said Kendrick. Kemba is making less money than like all of them,
which is very sad.
Right. So that's the problem. I mean, he has no help, and he's too good to not be contending. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
any other teams who need a point guard who can like to.
The Hornets should trade for Bradley Beal.
You think so?
They definitely should. But again,
what would the trade be for?
I don't know. They have shitty contracts.
Right.
No one's going to want to trade, and they're not even good players either. So Kemba's stuck.
No trade value.
He's stuck in purgatory where he's a great player surrounded by really bad teammates. There's not like they're going to have to draft well.
Right.
No matter how late or early their picks are, and they got They got Miles Bridges, who's shown a lot of promise.
Right.
But he's a rookie. I mean, you got
great dunks.
Yeah,
I mean,
you really got to get some talent around this guy or else his talents are just going to be wasted for his whole career. And the path they're on now, with all these really bad contracts, they're not going to be able to make trades. So it's tough situation. But Kemba's too good to have his talents wasted like this.
Yeah, we need to see him on a better team with better supporting casts and just a change of scenery for him, because God knows he needs it.
For real. Man, it's just tough to watch. I mean, I love watching him play. The game last night against the Celtics.
Right. It's like all ISO.
He took over in the fourth quarter.
1v5.
It was nasty, dude. He had this like Euro step right-handed scoop, and then he had like back-to-back threes in the fourth to like dagger the Celtics.
Right.
Oh,
see the one where he banked it? I'm sure you did.
Which one was that?
It was one, I think.
He banked it?
Yeah, he like banked it from 3-point range.
I remember Trae Young banked a shot from 3-point range last night. I don't know, and one.
But no,
that's neither here nor there.
Kemba shot one. It did like you said, banked off the top corner of the square in there.
I don't remember that one.
It was when the game was tight.
Maybe I'd have to go back and rewatch the highlights.
Right. It was a 3-pointer regardless. It was just like
right.
What?
I do remember that. I do remember that. Yeah, it's just like when you're so hot that everything you shoot goes in.
It was just one of those nights for him.
Yeah, and that's back-to-back nights where he's had that. He had 21 points in the fourth quarter last night. That's insane, dude.
How do you do that?
I know, right? Like when I see players do something like that, like just unreal takeovers, like we saw from Kyrie against the Raptors the other night, and from Kemba, and I've seen Damian Lillard do it on multiple occasions.
What was that one
Steph
play
Curry's done
where
it.
like he scored the basket, then like someone tried to throw it inbounds, and he like caught it?
Oh, that was against the Wizards. He dropped 40 on John Wall's head. Scored a layup, and then he stole an inbound pass and got fouled and made an and one.
Dude,
that was sick.
That's a perfect showing of how bad the Wizards are.
Right. And how good Dame is. Like,
right.
It's just a testament for
No, I'm not trying to.
No, I know what you're saying. You see me get defensive there?
Yeah, just a little bit. I sent you that text the other day just to piss you off.
What did it say?
It was I think LeBron was humbling Dame there.
Yeah, I was like, not really. I mean, that pissed me off. I was at work. I was like, this guy.
Well, actually.
Man. But anyways, those takeover games that we see, it's crazy. Speaking of that Celtics and Raptors game, that was a really good showing from the Celtics.
It was a good showing for Kyrie.
Yeah, and they played really great team basketball down the stretch. Kyrie had a nasty 43 points. He was making bucket after bucket, tough shot after tough shot, just clutch shots too. Kyrie, like that Kyrie when he has no regard for anybody,
right?
And he's just making every shot is one of my favorite players ever.
Oh my God!
Like to watch.
He just.
Hence why I have his jersey hanging up right there.
Right. Kyrie is something special that I don't think we'll see something similar for a long time.
It'll be a while.
People might try to emulate it, but
yeah, like certain players you'll just never see again.
Right.
Like LeBron James, we'll probably never see another player as good as LeBron, or Steph Curry. We'll never see, like, we see Trae Young and we see other players shoot long threes and try to like emulate everything, but some players are just so gifted and special that they're once in a not even generation, lifetime.
Right.
Or once ever.
We're lucky to watch this.
Yeah, we are so play. Like we're gonna look back on all these highlights one day where like when the rookies now are the superstars, and we're like, man, you remember watching Curry drop 40 on OKC in that like half court game winner?
Yeah,
like
Curry's old. People telling me Curry's washed. That'll be the day.
That will be the day, man. That'll never happen though, because that jumper is gonna be lethal.
It's gonna be
years.
50, and he's still gonna have the purest stroke.
Right? Or people are.
Clay could play till he's 50 because his stance, his shot, he doesn't have to move his legs really at all. That's all elbow.
Or can you imagine the day people are saying like LeBron is bad? Like that'll never happen.
No, people are trying to, but you can't because statistically it's false. Yeah, you're wrong.
It was starting to creep into my head that like, maybe LeBron isn't the best player anymore.
Right. Maybe he doesn't have the best impact on team.
Maybe he's passing the torch now. But then when I saw what he did to the Blazers the other night, and then to the Heat, like the 51-point game against Miami and the 44 against the Blazers, I was just shaking my head at some of the shit he was doing. I was like, oh my God, why did I doubt this guy? Why did I for a second think
now
he's not the best player in the
Steph
league?
Curry 3-point shoot. Everyone's getting some range.
Yeah, LeBron is a shooter now. like he's a legit shooter now.
He's scary. His step back is scary,
It's
even though it's
nasty.
the slowest step back I've ever seen in my life.
It's buttermilk biscuits. Man,
Buttermilk biscuits. Wet. Wetty shot.
Wet like I'm Book, right? Please kill me if I do that again. Thanks.
Wet like I'm Buck.
Oh God.
You like that?
Sicko mode reference. I didn't like that at all, by the way. No.
I
But-
had a half a Zan. That's what my doctor prescribed.
Stop. What were we talking about? We kind of got off topic there.
I don't know.
We were talking about like
just
one day people are gonna
players
say
being great, you know,
Right,
who will be
yeah.
great in the future, and
We were talking
thinking
about
of the day
Kemba.
that Steph Curry would be washed.
Right, when people start saying shit like
And I'm
that.
sure people thought the same thing about Carmelo, thinking, "Oh man, he's going to be great for a long time." God, that has gotten
the
ugly.
difference between Curry and Carmelo is efficiency and just
Right.
star power and ability to make your teammates better, which Carmelo has never really done.
Yeah.
But let's move on here. Speaking of future stars, Trae Young says that he will be a better player than Luka Doncic because of his ability to pass the ball. And he also said Luka is a great player, but he just is confident in himself, and the media is trying to make something out of nothing, trying to be like,
Right.
oh, Trae said he's going to be better without... Like, they try to make it look like he didn't even say anything positive about Luka, which he did.
Right.
He just is confident in himself enough to say...
Right.
I'm sure Luka would say the exact same thing. I'm going to be a better player
Yeah.
for this reason.
Who
and that
doesn't
reason.
want to be the better player out of
Exactly.
the person you
So,
got traded
It's like,
for
it's
during
like
the
what
draft?
what do you want him to say?
Right.
You know? And watching these two guys
Just
play,
let the kids play, man.
for me, they're the two best rookies out of this draft class.
Mhm.
And right now, I have Luka as the leading candidate for rookie of the year because he's averaging like 19 points and he's a pretty good playmaker. He can shoot really well.
Who's the rookie
He can
that's
rebound.
starting for the Clippers?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
He's doing really
He's really
well.
good too.
He's doing
I watched
really
him last
well as a
night.
starter.
He's pretty good. Yeah, I'm glad he's starting.
right.
He's
right.
in the
He
Clippers
needs
are
to
a
be
nice
there.
team. I'm trying to tell you, they got a lot of
I
nice
dissed
pieces.
them, but they're showing some promise.
I mean, they've got Tobias Harris, Montrezl Harrell, Lou Williams, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari. They've got a lot of like quality players who can give you 20.
Mhm.
And right now they're second seed in the West.
Lou Williams is ridiculous with last game situations.
He's so clutch. It's
He
crazy.
is really clutch, and I didn't expect this outburst from him so far this season.
Right. But back to these rookies.
Right.
Like Trae is averaging like I think it's like 17 points and 8 assists or something like that. And he had
Right.
like 25 and 17 last night.
And the thing is,
These
with-
kids are so good.
right with that stat line with Trae.
Mhm.
His shot is hardly on ever. Like, so
He's
his
been
assist
struggling
stat
shooting
though.
lately.
Yeah,
But eventually it's going to drop.
but yeah, when it's on, like he can just rack it up.
When he has those games where he's hitting those deep threes, like he did against LA the other night.
It's just a flip switch. It's
Yeah.
just
Some nights it's dropping, some nights it's not, and I think law of averages are eventually gonna come out, and he's gonna shoot high 30s or 40s from
Right.
three. It'll get there. He's a rookie adjusting to the game. I mean, slumps are expected from every rookie,
right.
but
right.
but I've been amazed with watching Luka Doncic, especially like his clutch play against the Warriors the other night. Granted,
Right.
the Warriors have been slipping lately. Either way, they're both so good. I love watching them, and because of Trae's recent like struggle before the game last night with the 25 and 17, that's why I think Luka jumped him in the race because I had Trae as my favorite, but because of those 3 games where he only had like single digit points
Yeah.
and like
Sometimes it's
five or
just
6
not
assists.
there.
Yeah, and they were all road games against playoff teams. That's not an excuse. But rookie struggles are to be expected no matter who they're against. So either way, they're really fun to watch. Last couple things on here. Let's talk about the Rockets real quick. They've been looking a lot better.
Better. That's a good one.
Ever since the Melo thing where they haven't waived him, they're just going to trade him eventually, but he's just not with the team.
Yeah, he's
They're
just
saying like, you're gone for now. We're going to trade you, but you got to be patient.
Yeah.
Until we find a trade.
just
but,
chill out.
but ever since then, I mean, Houston seems to have gotten their swagger back.
Yeah, a good bit. it was cool to see, that moment with Chris Paul where he stripped that ball away from the shot.
He was smiling.
Yeah, to see Chris Paul smile after recently getting punched in the face not too long ago. The turnaround. Things have turned around for the Rockets, which is good.
Chris Paul is looking better. James Harden is, returning to MVP form after a slow start to the season.
You see that play by Chris Paul on Jokic where he had him turned around?
Yeah, where he froze Jokic a couple times.
That looked like me out there if I was trying to guard Chris Paul.
If any of us were trying to guard.
Dude, for real.
Yeah. That was pretty fun. I think he's toyed with Jokic since last season.
No, yeah, he
just faking him out. Like he loves
too quick
messing with big men.
Too quick. No, Steph does that too. Smaller guards love to mess with big guys when they get them out of the perimeter.
Like when they get the switch.
Oh, you're finna get cooked.
Yeah, like when a big guy gets switched on him, it's like, oh, this is barbecue chicken.
Who did he do that? He did that to a Lopez. I think
he's done it to Rudy Gobert. He's done it to Marcin Gortat. He's probably done. He did to Marcus Gasol. He does it to every big man. Switches on him.
I'm sure he has.
I can't remember a Lopez one. Like recently. You talking about Brooke or Robin?
One of them. I can't remember. One of the Lopez's.
Right. Speaking of Robin and Brooke, did you see the Bulls game the other night where they were like
Where they were just like
the Bulls
Lopez on Lopez crime.
The Bulls were winning by like 20 or almost 30, and then like the Bucks like made a comeback and like won by like 20.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes, I saw that game. I was watching that game.
Like the third quarter was like the Giannis show and the Chris Middleton show. Chris Middleton is very good.
Chris Middleton's underrated. Very clutch. Very useful piece that is finally being utilized.
With the nice new addition of Coach, who was, like I said, the biggest addition that wasn't a player.
Coach Bud.
What a guy, man.
We miss you.
Yeah, the Hawks miss you. Atlanta. Actually, this isn't even worth mentioning, but we were talking about how the Hawks record isn't like as bad as it looks because they haven't had healthy players. We're Hawks fans because we live in Atlanta, so no one cares about this. I'm not even going to finish my thought, but
Really? Come on, you got to say it.
All right. I mean, John Collins is back, so that's going to be nice to see him and Trey grow together, and Taurean Prince, because those are the three guys they're keeping for the future.
Yeah.
And then whoever they end up drafting.
Trying to build Warriors 2.0.
Right. And they'll probably keep Spellman and Herter too for shooting and whatnot. We'll just have to see how the future pans out, but.
I don't think Alex Len is going to stay much longer.
Probably not. They're on. Actually, I think he signed a 3-year deal with the Hawks, something like that. Maybe really? I'm tripping. I don't know.
He just the way he plays real aggressive. He causes a lot of fouls. He gets in foul trouble.
Mm-hmm. He's just not good.
This NBA player, not good.
Better than me, shit. J.R. Smith is no longer with the Cavs organization. Waiting for a trade and working out by himself. So both sides are looking for a trade because he said he wants out of there. They're tanking. The goal isn't to win, and he wants to be a part of the team that's trying to win.
Right.
So who could use J.R. Smith? Could anybody use J.R. Smith?
Nope.
I don't know if anybody wants to trade for J.R. Smith.
I don't know.
I think he ruined his trade value after his performance in the last two finals, especially after Game 1 of last year, where he forgot the score.
I think,
that probably.
Wait, what? When did that happen?
You're joking.
But anyways, with
J.R. Smith probably forgot it happened.
It's too off the Henny.
Henny God.
Yeah, true Henny God. The hen dog. J.R. Smith. I'm trying to think of a team that could
use just a shooting off the bench.
Yeah, a shooter to come off the bench or even starting if the team is that bad.
Honestly, any team that could use, whether it's streaky three-point shooting or just three-point shooting in general, could use him. I'm thinking like the Sixers could maybe turn him into JR, all we want you to do is come off the bench and shoot as many damn threes as possible. That's all we
Don't tell him that. He'll do it.
Yeah. But just like with Philly's second unit, like go out there and be a three-point shooter for him.
Right.
I feel like that's a role he would like. On a contending team.
But one play he'll like get too confident and be like, oh, I can dunk it over this big man, and then he'll realize he's not as young as he used to be.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Anymore.
I can't really think of many teams that could use a J.R. Smith at this point. I'm sure it'll happen. We'll see.
Right.
Any team that could use shooting, I feel like, could maybe go for it. But other than that,
who knows?
That's probably it.
It'll just be a guessing game.
Yeah.
spin the wheel of NBA teams and he'll find a place.
Right. What if the Warriors pick him up and he wins a ring with
That
Cleveland
would be
and
so
Golden
goddamn
State?
funny. Oh my god, I'd love that. I'd love that so much.
That would be hilarious. Winning a ring with like
No, he purposely like
rivals of the era.
sabotages the Warriors to let the Lakers LeBron. It's like, I got you, fam.
Right. Man, the Lakers have been looking pretty solid actually lately.
Yeah, they found their groove. LeBron found his groove for sure.
Oh, for sure. Man.
Who else has been performing well with the Lakers? Who's been helping LeBron out, do you think?
I mean, Brandon Ingram has been solid, and just their whole team has been doing pretty well lately. You know, you got Hart coming off the bench making some hustle plays.
Do they still try to put Kuzma at the 5?
I don't think so. I think they quit with that. JaVale McGee has been balling.
JaVale McGee's
he's quietly had a most improved
he's
player
having
season.
his most,
the best year of his career so far.
I'd say his improvement landed with Golden State. And
Well, yeah, because they turned him into a JaVale. You can be so much more than Shaqtin' MVP if you just trust the system and really try and try not to hit a grand slam. Just do simple home run or no, try not to hit a home run. Just hit singles. You know, what I'm trying you get what I'm trying.
Not
to
a grand slam, simple home run. No, that's a Warriors mentality though.
Right. You know what I'm trying to say.
No,
though.
yeah, I
Like,
got you.
don't go for the highlight play. Just make the correct one.
Make the simple play.
Right, exactly. But no, he's having a pretty good season. All of their guys are contributing pretty well. But LeBron is obviously the backpack of the team, carrying them all. I don't want to say he's carrying because they're getting decent contributions from the starters, but it's
there's bound to be one breakout player.
Right. Ingram has been. I don't want to say he's been great, but he's been pretty solid.
Right.
But
not up to expectations.
Yeah,
yet.
Not yet. He's still very young. This is only his 3rd season, so it's only his 3rd or 4th. You got anything else?
I got nothing, man.
All right, I guess that's gonna do it for today, folks. Thank you guys for listening. I forgot to say in the beginning, thank you guys for 1,600 subscribers. We gained like 200 subs in like 2 or 3 days, which is wild. But if you're new here, thank you for the support and continue to show it. And thanks for watching, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Yeah, later.